His reply to statements by governors. Mr. President, can we be upstanding, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, heads of government, honorable ministers, governors, directors, observers, guests, ladies and gentlemen. We've come to the end of another very engaging and productive annual meeting. As we close, it is important for us to be reflective, focusing on some of the key messages that emerged from our deliberations over the last few days. It is also important to be prospective and look towards the future, inspired and informed by our collective considerations over the past couple of days. One of the most poignant global developments which provided a backdrop for this annual meeting was an apparent shift in sentiment by some of our major trading partners away from market openness to one characterized by increased protectionism. In their statements, many governors alluded to the improvements in global economic growth, while also recognizing the risks posed by policy uncertainty in some advanced economies. Indeed, during the 18th William G. Demas Memorial Lecture, our distinguished speaker, Dr. Daniel Lederman, advanced a very cogent and timely argument when he advised small economies like the Caribbean countries to think big. The central message was the need for these economies to adapt to change, to promote nimbleness and agility, and to pursue regional integration more aggressively as a potential pillar of support in sustaining income growth. I am in full agreement with the mammoth possibilities that a more united Caribbean can achieve. Madam Chair, the CDB annual meeting provides governors with a platform for sharing their unvarnished views on the stewardship of the bank and on its development performance during the past year. Within this context, we were heartened yet humbled by their observations and favorable disposition. The bank succeeded in increasing its levels of approvals and disbursements in sectors and areas that offer real potential for changing the lives of many vulnerable people in our societies. Chair, one governor challenged CDB to pursue bold and transformative social and economic change that can make tangible difference to the lives and livelihoods of Caribbean people. These words aptly reflect CDB's mission and its current portfolio of interventions. In 2016, for instance, the bank approved its first project under its new GeoSmart facility for a total of $15.4 million to support the exploration of geothermal energy in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This facility allows risks to be appropriately mitigated in a manner that encourages private sector participation in later stages of project development. This project and similar ones being pursued in other islands in the Eastern Caribbean with the assistance of the Inter-American Development Bank have the potential to reduce electricity costs and to propel economic growth and development in beneficiary countries. Many governors also congratulated the bank on its accreditation to the Green Climate Fund and the Adaptation Fund in 2016. They noted the acute environmental vulnerability of the region and the important role that the bank must continue to play in helping its BMCs to build resilience. Naturally, we concur with these views. CDB has placed considerable emphasis on accessing a larger pool of funds which we can make available to our BMCs. Yesterday, we signed an agreement with the European Investment Bank for the second climate action line of credit. This will facilitate increased climate proofing of critical infrastructure in the Caribbean. The line of credit for €100 million is the largest single loan made by EIB in our region. We are very encouraged by the strong statement of confidence in CDB that this line represents. CDB also intends to explore options to support the expansion of CRIF SPC, formerly the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility, which has proved to be an extremely cost-effective risk transfer vehicle in the Caribbean. Later today, we'll be launching a new integrated sovereign risk management project. The project will greatly enhance the country's ability to take account of the full spectrum of risks that they face and to make the appropriate adjustments to their risk management strategies. We are very pleased to be partnering with CRIF SPC on this groundbreaking initiative. Some governors also mentioned the importance of elevating gender as a core development priority within the context of Sustainable Development Goal number 5. As has been documented in the bank's annual report of the Special Development Fund, as well as in the Development Effectiveness Review, we continue to make great strides in achieving gender-related development outcomes. The percentage of projects that have been gender mainstreamed is almost 100%, and a large portion of infrastructure projects now include gender components that screen for differential gender impacts. Gender equality, therefore, remains a cross-cutting theme in the bank's current strategic plan and has been adopted as a cross-cutting theme in SDF 9. Private sector operations also received good attention from governors, and rightly so. CDB has argued repeatedly that private sector growth must be the cornerstone of Caribbean development. Our views in this regard have not changed. We note the call by many governors to hasten the completion of the private sector policy and strategy. I assure you, governors, ladies and gentlemen, that strategy is at an advanced stage of preparation, and it is our intention to present it for consideration by the Board of Governors before year-end. Let me assure you also that our private sector support continues in very tangible ways. For instance, we have posited in the past that the business environment must be such that it induces the private sector to invest, and that policy predictability must be sufficiently clear so as to obviate surprises. The bank has been working with other development partners, including the IDB, through the Compete Caribbean project to identify and to treat with impediments to business development. Through our policy-based operations, we have also been supporting reforms that, for example, improve customs logistics and ultimately reduce the cost of doing business. In the area of public-private partnerships, we have been expanding our footprint by strengthening technical knowledge. In the margins of these meetings, we marked another milestone when we officially launched, in collaboration with IDB and the World Bank, our new PPP toolkit. This instrument will go some distance in strengthening BMC's understanding of the relevant risks in transactions and ultimately in improving deal structuring. Some governors alluded to the many internal changes the bank has pursued over the last couple of years. We have strengthened our risk management function and have boosted our creditworthiness. I'm happy to report that CDB has recently received a rating upgrade from Standard & Poor's, and we have equalized ratings between S&P, Moody's, and Fitch. which enhance our ability to provide much-needed development funding at cost-effective pricing. Chairman, I want to close by linking two other areas that are of strategic importance to the bank and which we discussed during our deliberations. These have to do with our Special Development Fund and membership in CDB. The SDF has become indispensable to the work of our bank in tackling deep-seated poverty in some of our most vulnerable BMCs. Governors drew attention to the dampening effect that fiscal and other challenges had on the size of the SDF-9 replenishment, which fell slightly below target. On the question of membership, the issue for us is twofold. A growing concentration in the bank's portfolio, combined with the high debt burden of some credits, has the potential to undermine adequate capital growth, which is required to maintain CDB's current strong capital base. The bank, in my view, must contemplate possible responses to these market and portfolio trends. An expansion of membership, both borrowing and non-borrowing, seems like one of the best available options to us. New BMCs will have the effect of increasing support for the SDF and augmenting capital while providing portfolio diversification opportunities. New non-BMCs, which are investment grade, would also expand the callable capital base and undergird the bank's market rating. As we contemplate this option, we must also think about wider issues that may potentially stymie the pace of membership expansion. Within this context, we must think about how we as a region can look outward, even as our larger countries look inward. For me, this will undoubtedly determine how we go forward. These times require us to be bold and to be ambitious. Harnessing the future requires us to shed some of the inaction of the past. So with these remarks, Chair, permit me to express my sincere appreciation and heartfelt thanks to the government and people of the Turks and Caicos Islands for your warmth and your hospitality, which are only matched by the beauty and serenity of your lovely islands. Madam Chair, I wish to thank you personally for taking the time to guide our deliberations whilst managing the many commitments of your new administration. I also want to thank your supporting team for their efforts and to acknowledge the contribution of CDB staff here in TCI and the supporting team back in Barbados. We have leveraged the technology wisely to make this annual meeting the success that it has been, our challenges with the microphone notwithstanding. Chair, as I look ahead, I am inspired by our enormous possibilities rather than daunted by our challenges. We can realize those possibilities if we remain steadfast in our focus on dismantling the inhibitors of growth and development. When we meet in the Spice Island of Grenada in 2018, I trust that we'll be able to report on even better development outcomes in our region. Indeed, while we are small, together we can make a real difference. So until then, governors, directors, observers, guests, and staff of the CDB, I wish you all a safe journey home. Madam Chair, I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. What a productive few days we have had together. And I believe that we have seen finality and conclusions to lingering issues, helped borrowing member countries with thought-provoking dialogue and tangible, necessary, immediate assistance, while reviewing the work of the bank and making critical decisions for the road ahead. Like the President, I believe there is an urgency for greater regional cooperation and collaboration, and it is incumbent upon us all to recognize the urgency of now. The past few days ought to have reminded us that there are so many more commonalities that draw us to this obvious place. The Caribbean Development Bank is a viable, useful, and helpful institution for the growth of this region. And I am confident, Mr. President, you and your staff see your role as such. Mr. President, Madam Vice Presidents, directors, and staff, it was an absolute pleasure working with you in this brief period. And though my role changes, you can rest assured that the Turks and Caicos will continue to solidify our relationship. And I again thank you for your work on our behalf over the years and for the years to come, and indeed on behalf of the wider CDB family. This era of change calls us to be dynamic, to be brave uncharted waters, make bolder but well-informed steps to realize what we must for this region. And I'm confident, President Smith, that you and your team are up to the challenge. It was a pleasure hosting all of you here in the Turks and Caicos. My country has certainly made me proud, and I believe that we have risen to the occasion. We trust that your experience in this beautiful Caribbean destination, what I call the largest chunk of heaven on earth, has made you even more proud to be a part of this region. This region is tinkering on the edge of greatness, and we are yet to position ourselves and use our God-given gifts for our regional benefit. So many possibilities, so many opportunities for cooperation, and so little time. We were honored to have welcomed you and to have reminded you, our friends at CDB, of the many possibilities for partnership here in the Turks and Caicos, and how you have helped us and can continue to help us realize our people-centered goals. I encourage all of our visitors to continue to enjoy the remaining time that you have here with us, and we pray your safe return to your home destinations. Premier, Chief Minister of Anguilla, honorable ministers, governors, directors, the staff of CDB, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, thank you for the part that you have played over the past few days. I say thank you, and I bid you good afternoon. Thank you. I now invite the chairman-elect, the governor for Grenada, to take his seat beside me. Chairman-elect, I now invite you to offer a few remarks.
Chairman of the Board of Governors, the Honorable Charlene Cartwright Robertson, Premier and Minister of Finance, Trade and Investment, Turks and Caicos Islands, President of the CDB, Dr. William Warren Smith, members of the CDB Board of Directors, Honorable Ministers of Government, distinguished representative of government, governors, members of the Diplomatic Corps, representative of regional and international partners, ladies and gentlemen. Grenada is honored to be elected to chair the Board of Governors for the next year and to be the host for the 48th Board of Governors meeting in May 2018. We note for the records that Grenada has had the opportunity to host the Board of Governors meeting on 4 previous occasions. The 17th meeting in 1987, the 28th meeting in 1998. So it is 19 years since we did not host. So we look forward to hosting you next year. Let me congratulate the outgoing chair of the Board of Governors, the Honorable Charlene Cartwright Robertson, Premier of Turks and Caicos, for her distinguished leadership as chairman of the Board of Governors over the past year and the excellent arrangement for the 47th meeting. It is always important on occasions like this to remind ourselves of our responsibilities as governors and our obligation to the Caribbean Development Bank, as well as the purpose and mission of the CDB. Article 1 of the agreement establishing the Caribbean Development Bank states, and I quote, "The purpose of the bank shall be to contribute to the harmonious economic growth and development of the member countries in the Caribbean, and to promote economic cooperation and integration among them, having special and urgent regard to the needs of the less developed members of the region." In this era of rapid changes and increasing global challenges, we as governors, in whom all the powers of the bank are vested under Article 27, delegated or not, are challenged to provide strong leadership and ensure that the policies of the bank contribute to the achievement of its purpose. We must always be mindful of the mission of the bank, which is to be the leading catalyst for development resources into the region, working in an efficient, responsive, and collaborative manner with our borrowing members and other development partners towards the systematic reduction of poverty in the countries through social and economic development. As governors from borrowing member countries, as well as contributors, we must always recommit ourselves to meeting our obligations to the bank and to the achievement of its purpose and mission in the interest of the region, and to providing the enabling environment for the effective and efficient operation of the organization. Let me recognize the other elected vice chairpersons of the Board of Governors to serve until the end of the 48th Board of Governors meeting in 2018. The Governor from Mexico, Governor from Germany. I look forward to your support. Colleague governors, ladies and gentlemen, the successful completion of Grenada's recent homegrown structural adjustment program is in many ways the result of the support of the bank in partnership with other development partners, many of whom are here today. In reflecting on our experience under the program, I take note of the statement by the President, Dr. Warren Smith, and I quote, "In short, our region is calling on its leaders to have a laser focus on doing what is right, not what is easy," end of quote. Implementing the required reforms was not easy, but we are convinced that it was the right thing to do. The results are there for all to see. Thank you, Mr. President, for your leadership and support in our time of greatest need. We congratulate the bank on its improved credit rating. This was no doubt the direct result of strong leadership, hard work, and focused attention. I would also like to congratulate the bank on the successful implementation of Special Development Fund 7, 8, and negotiation of the SDF 9th replenishment. I would also like to take note of the following development resources available through the bank. Selection by the government of the UK for the administration of the £300 million UK Caribbean Infrastructure Partnership Fund, grant provided through the Department for International Development for investment in critical economic infrastructure in the Caribbean to set the foundation for growth and prosperity, reducing poverty, and increasing resilience to climate change. The negotiations of the new financing arrangement with the European Development Bank for US $110 million of new support for climate change mitigation, adaptation, and resilience projects across the Caribbean. the launching of the Public-Private Partnership Toolkit, which presents members with a new financing instrument to support the development trust in an environment of high debt and limited fiscal space. The launch of CDB-BMC Regional Risk Framework. Grenada is proud to have been selected as a pilot country for the development of this framework. The recent launch of the Project Cycle Management and the Public Policy Analysis and Management Training Program 2016-2018. The Performance Management and Delivery Unit. Grenada takes this opportunity to express its interest in this facility. I invite the bank and member countries to contribute to the dialogue in support of our development agenda in the following fora where we are privileged to play a key role. The Caribbean is now leading the Small States Forum at the World Bank, represented by the Prime Minister of Grenada as chairman for the next 18 months. Among the priority action areas that the forum will be addressing at a global level are the following: including vulnerability as a criterion for concessional financing, predictability of concessional financing through either front-loading and fast-tracking, debt sustainability, access to new and existing climate financing, capacity building and technical assistance, diversification of small states' economies, access to financial market, including dealing with the issue of de-risking. Other areas of focus will be the blue economy, renewable energy, technology, capacity building. All small island developing states, and especially we in the Caribbean, must work hard to achieve results from this forum. The government of Grenada has accepted an invitation from UNDP and OECD to be the Caribbean Islands case study on sustainable development financing, challenges and options for small island developing states. The expected outcome of this exercise is to collectively reinvigorate efforts to champion the special development case of seeds, to ensure that these countries are able to access the development finance they need on the terms and conditions most suited to their unique circumstances. This is part of the ongoing shared effort to raise awareness of the financing challenges of seeds, and also to look at ways that can be overcome, including through innovative financing for development approaches. This activity is expected to commence in June 2017, and we look forward to engaging the Caribbean constituency in this important activity. Grenada has been selected together with ISTIMO to co-chair the thematic area, increasing economic benefits to seeds and LDCs, and provide access to small-scale artisanal fishers to marine resources and markets at the UN Ocean Conference in June 2017. I am certain that many of the member states here will participate at this UN Ocean Conference. The government of Grenada would like to thank the Board of Governors of the Caribbean Development Bank for selecting Grenada as the incoming chairman for the next year, and we look forward to welcoming you to Pure Grenada, the Spice of the Caribbean, for the 48th Board of Governors meeting next year. Let me end by expressing my profound appreciation to the government and people of the Turks and Caicos Islands for the warm hospitality and all the arrangements that have been put in place to ensure smooth execution of this 47th meeting. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman-elect, Governor for Grenada.
Governors, this is a resolution we wish to put forward in appreciation to the government of the Turks and Caicos. It reads, to express its appreciation for the hospitality of the government and people of the Turks and Caicos Islands on the occasion of the 47th 2017 annual meeting held at the Gustavus Lightboard Sports Complex, Providencialis, Turks and Caicos Islands.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Caribbean Development Bank's Vibesing Youth Outreach Program has been an integral part of the board's meeting over the past few years. Vibesing, which means giving voice to the youth, gives the young people an opportunity to express their views on various development topics. The theme for this year was Start Up and Stand Up, promoting creative entrepreneurship among the youth. Over the period March 15th to May 8th, the youth of the Turks and Caicos Islands participated in a Snapchat story challenge, where they were tasked with sharing a story on how creative entrepreneurship can be an engine of growth in the Turks and Caicos Islands and across the region. In April, 30 youth from across the Turks and Caicos Islands participated in a 3-day forum where they learned how to take a creative business idea and transform it into a viable business plan. On the final day, 6 teams presented their business pitch to a panel of judges and were awarded prizes for the most creative and viable business proposal. This afternoon, we will hear the voices of the young people of the Turks and Caicos through a video presentation of highlights from the Creative Entrepreneurship Forum and of the winning entries from the Snapchat Story Challenge. The video will be followed by a presentation of awards.
The first day, we were all scared, quiet and everything, but then as we moved on, we got to express ourselves, be more open and everything. So
we have to move from this old way of content creation, which is you talk, they listen, and they buy. That doesn't exist anymore. What it's about is that they are talking, you listen, then we have a conversation. Let's talk, let's interact.
A busy 2 days. I think that's the best way to describe it.
A lot of hard work, but you had fun at the same time, so it's like a great experience for me.
One of the main things what I like from this was the competition within the groups.
I really do believe that Turks and Caicos needs more seminars like these to enhance or empower the young people.
Oh, the seminar is amazing. I actually learned how to properly and effectively prepare a business plan and execute it.
How can I make my art and eat? Now that question is quite loaded. That question hints at about 3 things.
We are the Millennials. My name is Ivana Spencer and I'll be your presenter today. These are my colleagues, Ms. Janelle Williams, Ms. Jasmine Robinson, Ms. Danielle Simmons, and Mr. Joel Toussaint. And our project idea is Tread. We are an online writing and reading app available for TCI writers to express themselves through their culture. We're a platform that allows writers, local writers within the Turks and Caicos, to just express our culture on the app, which can be reached by millions to view and enjoy. So people from around the world, beyond the Caribbean, beyond TCI, they can see what our culture is truly about. Not just the young generation on using technology, but also older people, young adults, older adults, even elderly people are using the internet. We can use these apps, again, to showcase our culture through snippets of the person's writing, their poems, their stories. And all of this for the grand total of $0.00. Here with Tread, you'll be read.
The winners are Team Team Millennials.
The Millennials.
Hi, I'm Creatrix, and I'm Industria. And we'll be sharing our personal view on how creative industries are increasingly important to the economic and social well-being of the TCI and the Caribbean region.
These are industries that have their origin in individual creativity, skill, and talent, and have the potential for economic growth, employment, and social cohesion.
Creative industries can be divided into 11 categories. These are:
Creative industries are the hidden engines which can propel this nation and other Caribbean nations forward.
Startup. Get up. Come along with me as we take a trip around the Caribbean, showing you why the creative industry is such an importance to our Caribbean region.
The creative industry is important because it allows tourists to come and visit the Caribbean and experience the beautiful flora and fauna.
It is important to the country financially because it encourages people to come and see island festivities.
Startup and stand-up, creative enterprises as the engine of growth for TCI and the region.
Creative enterprises are increasingly important to the economic and social well-being of the TCI and the Caribbean region.
Creative enterprises grants persons a license to create any works in the form of Many Caribbean countries like Jamaica, Barbados, and Trinidad and Tobago have drawn on the creativity of their local artists and have generated a global reach. In order for the TCI to benefit from creative enterprises, we must change, invest, enforce, expand.
Let's hear it for the young people. And now you know you can use Snapchat for much more than just crown of roses, dog tongues rolling out, that sort of thing. You can actually be more creative with it. And they just proved that to you. And we will be presenting the winners with their prizes today, and they are here, as well as some of the persons who took part in the forum. The millennials are here, I believe. And so we'll ask the president and the chairman to just go down in front of the platform so that they can hand out those lucrative prizes. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Let's welcome Donnell Simmons, our third place winner. Donnell. Our second prize winner, Shakaya Lewis. Thank you, Shakaya. Don't go too far, Shakaya. Just stand a little bit up to the side. We'll be calling you back shortly. Our first prize winner, Shirlene Dabell. And just to refresh the memories of those who know and to inform those who don't know, we had the videos on our social media platforms and persons were asked to vote for their choice of the winner. And they chose Shakaya Lewis. So she's a People's Choice winner. All right, and your duties are not finished yet, Madam Chair and Mr. President. We are now going to make a presentation of laptops to some deserving recipients. Each year, the computers that are used by the CDB staff are left in the country. And this year, we have some lucky recipients, starting off with the Pathfinders. And we hope that there's a representative here from the Pathfinders. Yes? Yes. We're going to have them all come up because we're not actually going to give the computers right now. We have to take off all those sensitive items from them. So we're going to have to just have the group come up and get a group photo. So we're going to invite someone from the Marjorie Baisden High School. Is there a representative here? Also a representative from the Rotaract Club. The Rotaract getting a computer today. The next two computers are going to go to organizations that are very dear to me, having been a former member. We're going to have a representative from the Grand Turk Cadets. Well, I wasn't a member of the Grand Turk Cadets, I was a cadet. And we're also going to give a computer to the Providencialis Cadets. The next computer is going to go to an effort that is very dear to the Premier. It's the Center for Entrepreneurial Development, and this is for the incubation program. So do we have a representative from the CED? Then we also would like to have a representative from the National Rehabilitation Project under the Social Services Department. And finally, someone from the Builders. The Builders? Or the Kiwanis Club? Well, they are builders in their own right. You know how difficult it is to take a picture. It's all this moving around, and you're going to get it right in a little while. But they're very nice computers, I can assure you. I used one myself. I hope they clean that one off first, because just a little levity while we wait. You all look a little tired. It's been a long week, hasn't it? Guess what? There's a boat ride tomorrow. Understand, it's very relaxing. If you're missing it, I'm so sorry. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'll now turn the proceeding back over to the outgoing chairman, who, of course, is the best woman for the job. Man, that is.
Thank you, Colin. My task is winding down. But I'm going to now invite a representative on behalf of Montserrat to come and make a small presentation. This is the chief economist for Montserrat.
Thank you, Chair. You guys must be wondering, what am I doing here? Before I tell you, I would like to thank, first of all, President Smith and CDB for organizing such a great week. I have personally learned a lot, made a lot of friends. So you and your staff, sir, are one of the most amazing people, so applause to you and CDB. Chairwoman, you are one of my favorite ladies after my wife, and I think I told you that. The Premier of Turks and Caicos is one of those people who really get the job done, and the people of Turks and Caicos are very lucky to have you, madam. So thank you very much. Thanks for holding us here. So why am I here? 2 words, my boss. Things you have to do for your boss. So one of the talents Premier Romeo has, that he draws sketches. So he asked me to, without causing any international incident, he has sent 2 of his favorite sketches, one for President Smith and one for you, Madam Chair. But he asked me that you choose the first one. So I have 2 here, and I would like to show, first of all, his work. This is done by, so I would like to come here, sir, and choose which one. Sorry, President Smith, I have to ask the lady first, so. Which one? Yes, this one. There you go. President Smith, this is for you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Montserrat. We're happy that you are leaving here happier than you came. I now declare the 47th meeting of the Board of Governors of the Caribbean Development Bank now concluded. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Chair. Just some housekeeping notes. We'll now be going to lunch at the Beach Turks and Caicos Islands Resort Village and Spa. That'll be immediately, right now we'll leave. We'll have the lunchtime presentation. The topic is Towards an Irish-Inspired Growth Model for the Caribbean. And that will be presented by Mr. David McWilliams. Tomorrow, there'll be, as Colin mentioned, there'll be a boat tour from noon to 4 p.m. You'll be given an opportunity to register at lunch. The liaison officers will contact you at lunch for you to register for yourself and accompanying persons. No, that's the boat tour. Yes. We'll also be having the launch of the CRIF initiative. that will be done. That will be done now, before we go to lunch. Ms. Suantanis, please come. Thank you. Okay, we'll have the press conference first and then the launch. Okay, the meeting is adjourned. And those persons who involved in the press conference know who they are, they can stay back. And also the persons concerning the CRIF launch. The other persons, you're invited to go to beaches now for lunch.